they left me alone, and so I asked all those questions from the heart.
Well, appreciate it.
Yes. I said, Lord, please, the question of sacrifice. I said, oh my God.
Because I know you got a story.
Yes.
I know that.
So is my camera looking better? Is it we're sitting?
Yeah. Yes, you look beautiful.
Oh goodness, thank you. But I know that you're way too kind.
No, I will tell you if you looked a mess in this space. Like, girl, fix your hair. It's the green for me. Green is my favorite color.
Yep,
It's
the green looks great.
That's why we get along so well.
And I see people coming in. We're about to be live.
Okay. Oh crap.
Oh no.
Sorry. Hi, good morning. Welcome to EmpowerHER Virtual Series. My name is Erica Morgan, and I am the Director of Programs at Dress for Success Columbus. And I am so excited to have this conversation, Power Shift, Trailblazing Women, with two phenomenal powerhouse women in the community, Raina Shack and Jacqueline Harrison. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, you both look so beautiful.
So do you.
So do you,
Thank
Erica.
you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to have this conversation with me and to really pour into the women in the Dress for Success Columbus community. I'm excited to have you.
Thank you. And I'm
Excited to
excited
be here.
to be here.
So, some housekeeping rules for those who are tuned in. Hello, good morning to all of our viewers. Welcome. This is an open space, so I will have a conversation with the ladies, but feel free to drop questions in the chat and say hello so that we know that you're here. We can see your comments too. So, I would love to know that you're here. So, just say hello and who you are. But don't hesitate to drop a question in the chat, and throughout the conversation, I'll take time to make sure that I am getting your questions asked as well. All right, so we are going to go ahead and dive right in with the first question of the day. So, I'm sure there are a few people tuning in that may not know how amazing the two of you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and we will start with Jackie.
Well, my name is Jacqueline Harrison, and a little bit about myself is that I have been servicing the industry that I'm in for the past 29 years. Next year will be my 30th, and I'm super excited about it. I have two amazing children, one son, Jordan Harrison, and I have a lovely daughter, Jocelyn Harrison, that are truly part of my support system. I have my own salon suite, and I have been operating that in that fashion in that space for about 5 to 7 years now. I work for the Salon Loss brand, where you are an independent contractor and your own boss, and so I love that. I also am committed to my industry. I am a graduate of Columbus City Schools, Eastmore High School. So I am excited to be a Columbus City graduate and thrive the way that I have. And most of all, I am a Christian. I love the Lord. I walk with the Lord daily, and He has truly been giving me the blessings that I in my flowers every single day. And I'm so appreciative of those moments. Professionally, I'm a hairstylist and a professional makeup artist. I have worked for big brands. I've worked for MAC, NARS, Bobby Brown. I have recently finished out the campaign 23 with Hollister. So now I can say that I'm a national makeup artist. I also have worked with Women of Achievement in 21 and 23 of some of the most prominent and powerhouse women that you see in our community. I also have had the opportunity to be on the mobile unit for Dress to Success in the same community that I grew up in. So at heart, I am a Southside girl. But I love what I do every single day. I'm passionate about it. I also like to engage with women like yourself, Erica and Miss Raina, so that as we thrive through what we're going through in our journeys, that it helps support one another. So that's just a little bit about myself.
Awesome. Thank you. And Raina?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Hi, everyone. My name is Rena Shack, and I am the executive director of the Office of Violence Prevention here in Columbus. So we're a brand new office. We just became created, I guess is the best way to put it, in March. And I was appointed at the end of March by Mayor Ginther to lead this office. And so I'm very excited. Professionally, I have led a life of public service. So my entire professional career has been in the public service sector, working in the areas that I'm passionate about. But really, it all comes down to I just believe that we need to leave the world a better place that we found it in. And so I've devoted my career to trying to do that professionally, which I find to be a blessing because you don't often get to mesh those two passions together. So a little bit more about me is that I was born and raised in Youngstown, Ohio. I am from an immigrant family, and so I am the first generation in my family to be born in this country. Both of my parents are from a small Greek island in the Aegean Sea. So hopefully we'll be going back this summer. We have a trip planned, and I'm really excited to go back. But beyond that, I am an OSU graduate. I'm a graduate of Capital Law School. I have a 4-year-old toddler at home. He is very energetic and keeps me busy. So very, very busy trying to chase a 4-year-old around. I am married. I have 2 rescue dogs. And like I said, really social justice and leaving the world better than I came into it is my passion. And so I have tried to do everything I can to build that into my volunteering as well as my professional life. Recently, I was on the board of Yes, Dress for Success. So it's a subsidiary of Dress for Success, which is how I met Erica. And I've just really had a passion for this organization. So I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to meet Jacqueline. And I'm happy for the questions. So let's get going.
Awesome. Well, let's get going. Thank you for those introductions and the comments. Yes, Jacqueline is a fierce stylist and Rena is thriving. So I'm excited for everybody here to really get to know them both. So our next question is, if you could describe where you are in life today in only 3 words, what would they be? And Rena, we'll start with you.
Sure. So my 3 words I would say would be fulfilled, excited because I'm on this new venture, and busy. I have, a small child and new job, and things are just busy, busy, but in a good way.
Fulfilled, excited, and busy. I love that. Busy is good sometimes, and if you are fulfilled while being busy, it's even better, right? I love
Yes.
those. Thank you for sharing those. And Jackie, what about you?
I'm going to say that my 3 words in this season is spiritual growth and mindfulness.
Oh, okay. That is so you. For anybody that knows Jackie, that is so fitting. I love that. Spiritual growth and mindfulness. I love it. I'm here for that. And don't forget, those that are tuned in, feel free to drop a question in the chat throughout the conversation, and we'll try to get to each question. So we're going to keep going. Rena, you are making power moves throughout the city. Can you tell us about your journey?
I sure can. Thank you for that. I just keep finding myself in the next place, and I'm just really grateful for it. But a little bit about my journey is, like I said, I started here in Columbus at Ohio State University. While I was there, I really put a lot of my energy into studying politics and policy. I worked for the American Cancer Society doing grassroots organizing, trying to learn about changing things from the ground up. And so that's really where my passion for everything started. I always knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. It's just one of those things that when you were a kid, you just knew. I first thought I wanted to be a pediatrician and then realized I can't stand needles and I can't stand the sight of blood. So doctor, and I don't like math that much. So doctor wasn't in the cards for me. So then it switched to being a lawyer, and here we are. So after Ohio State, I always knew that I was going to be going to law school, ended up at Capital University Law School, which was just a wonderful decision. That's where I met my husband. That's where I made some of my lifelong friends that are still, our kids play together now that we're all graduated and working in different areas of the law together. But it was in law school where I really focused on criminal law. I thought back then that I was going to be like a cool spy in the FBI or something. Like I just knew that criminal law was where my passion was as far as the law is concerned. I didn't know that my path was going to take me down a path of being on the defense side as opposed to being on the side of the state. But it's a path that I'm eternally grateful for because it has shaped who I am. It has shaped the way that I see the world. It is just the lessons that I have learned from being on the defense side are just, they don't compare to anything else. And so after law school, I accepted a position with the Ohio Public Defender's Office. I worked both in their legal division as well as in their wrongful conviction division. So I was working on people's cases who claimed innocence, claimed to be wrongfully convicted. And so we were working really hard to try to learn about science and different forensic achievements to try to figure out whether we could prove that somebody was actually wrongfully incarcerated. And that was my first foray into kind of the defense side and just realizing that there is so much more that goes into a person, right? It's not just, in my opinion, somebody's not inherently good or bad. People make poor decisions, and it leads them into places that we might deem bad or we might deem good, but there is so much more to an individual than what meets the eye. So it was after a short time at the Ohio Public Defender's Office that I accepted a trial position with the Franklin County Public Defender's Office, which is the largest public defender office in the state of Ohio, I believe. We handle some of the largest dockets, so some of the largest caseloads across the nation, from what I understand. And I spent about 10 years doing that work. I've handled thousands upon thousands of cases ranging from traffic offenses all the way up to murder cases. I spent about a year or so dealing with misdemeanors. So just the smaller, more misdemeanor cases, traffic offenses up to like thefts and things like that. And then I spent the rest of my career in our felony unit dealing with the more serious cases. And so everything in between those two examples I've handled. But the part about that job that I loved the most was just being able to interact on a human level with the people that I was representing, because I firmly believe that everybody deserves a strong defense, no matter who you are. Because in my opinion, once we let the rights go for the least of us, there go the rights for the rest of us, in my opinion. So there is nobody who is not worth having a defense. There's nobody not worth whose rights should be stood up for, in my opinion. And I really dedicated my profession in that role to making sure that I was getting access to my clients to whatever they needed to make sure they were on a more stable path, whether that was drug addiction treatment, mental health treatment, financial literacy, education, housing, you name it. It was so much more than just dealing with somebody's legal case. It was more helping our clients who were indigent, or who fell below the state of Ohio poverty guidelines, really get a better stabilized life so that they could make better decisions in the future. And so that path led me in 2021 to joining Dress for Success as Yes Board. And then at the same time, I was running for judge here in Franklin County. I ultimately was not successful in my judicial race, but it ended up that was a blessing because, sometimes things don't work out the way that you think they're going to, and there's a reason for that. And so after that, I ended up being a finalist in the top 4 for the Columbus Inspector General position in 2022. Again, I didn't make it to the top of that, right? I ended up in the top 4, not the top 1, but God works in mysterious ways. And so a few months after that, I was approached by the mayor's office and asked if I would come join the team as their in-house counsel and assistant policy director. And so I joined actually 2 days ago was my 1-year anniversary here at the city.
Wow.
And I spent about 9 months in that position working on a number of initiatives for Mayor Ginther, and was just blessed enough in March of 2023 to be asked if I wanted the appointment to the Office of Violence Prevention Executive Director position. So that's a little bit about my trajectory, things that you think you want or that are going to work for you don't end up working for you, but you end up better off for it in the end. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
I love that. I love to see how you thought one thing, but God was like, girl, we got something better in the end.
Exactly.
And here you are being fulfilled, right?
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. Oh, look at all these greetings. Hi, Nikki, Bridget, Dawn, Monique. Good morning. All right. Next question. Jackie, you've been a successful entrepreneur for, you said, almost now 30 years, and you have made an impact in the lives of so many women in the community. How do you do it?
Erica, I think that it first starts with building trustworthy relationships. I have definitely taken pride in providing safe spaces for my clients and the people that I engage with. I think that it's important to get to know the person and meet a person where they are. And so I've been able to digest that. I'm a natural nurturer. So I feel like even as a stylist and as a person, I give in different ways. I'm also a listening ear. So a lot of people that I come across as clients and in the community, there's always room for a conversation. And in that conversation, it's important to be able to identify and connect. And I find myself connecting with women of all ages, all backgrounds, and that is important to me. And one of the things that sticks out to me is no matter where I am in my journey, am able to reflect where I came from. And so I can identify with women because I too may have had that same struggle before I had success. And so I think it's important for that. When it comes to my salon space, I haven't been in a space yet that I did not have anointed. And I'm thankful for that because I do cherish my clients, but they also cherish me. It's a mutual respect that's there. And not only is it a mutual respect, but I have gained tons of angels and some that I even call family now. And so I really take pride in knowing that I am a relationship builder.
Oh, relationship building is so important. It's so important. And I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you both. So we're going to keep the party rolling. All right. So, Jackie, how do you balance home, career, and self care? And this is for both of you.
Well, so home, I have an amazing support system. So I have my mom and my 2 children, and they are some of my greatest supporters. And so they help me navigate that. When it comes to self care, I didn't always know exactly what self-care meant, but now that I'm older, or I like to call it more seasoned, I know how important self-care is. And so I had to learn that just because I allowed my to do something for myself did not mean that I was neglecting someone else. And
Mhm.
when I learned that is when I was able to treat myself to a spa, wake up and go to the gym before I started my day. I start my every day now with me. And that was important for my mental, that was important for my spiritual life. And so it has given me great balance. And I had to learn that even if I do this for me, everyone else is still okay.
Yes, absolutely. You got to take care of you first
Yes.
in order to be able to pour into other people. You can't pour from an empty cup, right?
All right.
I love that. And what about you, Rena?
I wish that I was as good and as diligent at self care as Jackie is, uh, but I try. I have about 4 spa gift cards right now that my husband has purchased me that are sitting in my purse that are probably 2 years old because
No.
that is how bad I am at taking large chunks of time for myself. But what I have found, I would say 2 things. One is that in this season of my life, like I said, I have a 4-year-old son, and so that's just it's a time in life right now where a lot is required of myself and my husband to pour into him. And I understand that as he gets older, we may have the opportunity to dive more into self care once he's a little bit more self sufficient. Um, but so I take my chances where I get them. If that means waking up and going into a quiet space and doing 10, 15 minutes of yoga, that's what that means. Or if that means after I put my son to bed, I'm throwing on a face mask and just doing some breathing exercises or really centering myself. That's what that looks like for me at the moment because of just how hectic life can be with a little one at home.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I would say that really helps me balance is having that great support system at home, just like Jackie said. You know, I have been lucky to find a partner in life who is just as supportive of me and my endeavors as I am of him and his endeavors. And so we have grown together professionally since we both met in law school. And we've kind of had these periods of growth where one goes and then one holds it down at home. And then, you know, the next year, the other one of us grows professionally and the other one holds it down at home. The best example I have is when I was running for judge, that was almost a year endeavor. And my husband
Yeah.
played mom, dad, and everything in between for almost that entire year, realizing that I was doing it for our family. And so without him, I definitely wouldn't be able to have the balance that I have. So having that support system, I agree with Jackie, is just key.
I love that for you. I love that you have a phenomenal support system. But I'm going to take the words from the audience and say 4 spa gift cards. Yes, I am in agreement. We want you to put a date on the calendar to use at least one. I am in full agreement. I think everybody that is viewing is saying that you've had them now for 2 years. It's time.
I know. It's bad. It's hard. I will. I promise. I
We can
will.
book an hour, 1 hour massage with
You're
those
right.
gift cards. You can take 1 hour out for you. You deserve it. You
I need
deserve
to
it.
take more of Jackie's advice where, you know, that it's that mom guilt, right? That like if you're taking an hour out for yourself, then somebody else might be getting neglected for that hour. And she's entirely right. They're not. Taking care of yourself is the most
Mhm.
important so that you can take care of others. I know this. I just need to put it in practice. So thank
So
you for the reminder.
add me on your calendar to your spa day. I want to know.
Okay.
I want to know. All right. Listen, the audience is like, ma'am, ma'am, get it together. All right. So we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. So, ladies, what have you sacrificed both personally and professionally at each stage of your career? And Rena, if you want to start.
Sure. You know, I think I'm very lucky because personally, like I said, my husband and I have been on this journey kind of on a similar path professionally. So there's been a lot of understanding there. And I don't think I've had to sacrifice that much as far as the marriage is concerned. But I always go back to that running my campaign for that year in 2021. My son at that time was 2. And every time I look back on it, it was such an amazing experience. But at the same time, personally, I feel like I lost out on almost a year of my son's life because I was constantly gone from the house. And most of the time when I was seeing him, it was when he woke up in the morning or when he was coming to events with me. So, but without that experience, I certainly would not be where I am today. And so I'm thankful for all of it. But I would say that the hardest period was that year when I was just, 2 years old is little. And so to miss out on that, I feel like I'm still making up for that time. But certainly when he was born, I was taking time away professionally to make sure that I was there for him as a small infant. And so that ebb and flow as life stages have come and gone, definitely you take from one cup and give to another.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And what about you, Jackie? What have you sacrificed?
When I read this question, it had me in a chokehold because it's such a personal and emotional question for me. Because I am a single mom, and you sacrifice a lot of time not spent with your children as you're building your career. For me, as a stylist, there's Fridays that I'm in the salon 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. That becoming almost like my home. And so there are events that I have missed when it comes to my children so that they can have. I thank God that now they are able to have me because I'm in a different space. So I'm like Raina, I'm reclaiming that time with them. But there has been many times that I have not been able to feel like I was showing up in the spaces that I needed to because I needed to make sure that there was a roof over our head, that there was food on the table, and that made sure that they had the best and the tools so that they could be successful. And when I talk about being a single mom, that's putting on 2 different capes. It's putting on the cape of a provider and a loving mother and supporter. So I never seen myself as a single parent, but that's just been part of my journey. And so a lot of sacrificing has taken place in my earlier years. But you know what? We plant seeds, right? And as I planted the seed for my children, it's my harvest time. And so I'm reclaiming that for them.
Yes. Come on, it's your harvest time. Hashtag salon babies. I love it. It's your harvest time. It's your harvest time. It's your harvest time. I'm here for it. I'm here to just see the other side of your harvest time. So I'm excited. I'm excited for both of you. You guys are so great. And listen, the audience is still on you, Raina. So just wanted to tell you that. Yes, I love the transparency of both as well. Thank you, Jill. All right, next question. Have either of you ever been so discouraged that you wanted to quit? And either one can start.
Yes. Yes. When you're an entrepreneur, it's waiting for that person to show up. And so life happens, you have cancellations, you have slower weeks, slower months, slower seasons. So that you do feel like, why am I here? Is there a bigger purpose? So you start to question your ability to move forward in those times. And so I have definitely felt discouraged at times and wanted to throw in the hat, but it was my passion that kept me here.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Raina.
Gosh, yes. if you if you haven't experienced a failure that makes you want to throw in the towel, then I would say you're not trying hard enough, because that means you're not going after what you're really passionate about.
Mhm.
But yeah, absolutely. When I lost my campaign, I thought, I'm done. I'm done putting myself out there. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just going to crawl back into my little hole, and that's it. And really, it was my family, my friends, my support system at home who were like, no, you've worked this hard. You have built something. That's a jumping off point for whatever you want to do in the future. Keep going. And so, it was a huge lesson learned for me, because it's so easy to give into your ego that's bruised and be like, you know what, maybe this isn't meant for me. I'm done. And I've certainly been there many, many times, but that was the most significant in my life so far.
The key thing that I took from that was keep going. Keep going. You will absolutely want to give up. Maybe once, maybe often, but keep going. The both of you wouldn't be where you were if you quit because your ego told you, I didn't have enough appointments this week. I only had saw 2 people and I'm usually seeing 30 people. If you would have quit, where would you be? If you would have quit after that race, where would you be? Would you be sitting in that ED position right now? Right. And so keep going. Hashtag keep going. I love it. So I'm going to pause here to check the vibe to see if there's any questions in the audience. It looks like we are good to go. We're going to keep rolling. I don't see any questions, so let's keep going. Our next question is, Rena, as a leader, how do you stay mindful of who's at the table and who's missing?
Sure. So this one is incredibly important to me. My entire career, I have been in male-dominated fields. And so most of the time, that means that when I'm sitting at a table, I'm usually one of the only, if not the only, females sitting at that table. And I'm especially sensitive to making sure that all voices are heard, not only for that reason, but because of my history of being the first generation in my family born in this country. I come from a very diverse perspective, where historically the voices of immigrants or the voices of people who are non-citizens are not heard. And so I'm very, very sensitive for both of those reasons. I always tell people, there have been more times than I can count when I have been in court and somebody has asked me to go get coffee, or they think that I'm the administrative assistant, which there's absolutely nothing wrong with being the administrative assistant. But darn it, I worked really hard in law school to earn that law degree to be a lawyer and, not to be asked to get somebody's notebook or cup of coffee. And so I have just taken all of those experiences. And when I am sitting at a table, I am always thinking of who else I can bring up to have a seat at that table as well. So if that means that I have a space for somebody whose voice is not at the table and would be in addition, then absolutely, I'm going to be doing whatever I can to bring that person to the table, because as many diverse voices as we can get, that's what you need, in my opinion.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And Jackie, what advice would you give an inspiring entrepreneur?
Advice of building a good foundation with your bricks. Because if you don't, you'll be tearing down your bricks later on in your journey. So building those bricks to have a good foundation, making sure that you stay true to yourself. Make sure that you have a mentor. There's levels to everything, and making sure that you have a mentor, someone that wants to feed into you and guide you, is very important. Keeping a very supportive system is very important. Consistency is key as well. There is a famous quote by Oprah, and it says, "You don't become what you want, you become what you believe." And as long as you're believing in yourself, and you're staying true to yourself, you can make it. You can make it to any level that you aspire to be.
I love that. Ah, all right. So I love that. And we're not done with you, Jackie. There's a question from Dawn that says, one of your ministries is helping people find their power color. This means far more than just our outward appearance. Can you talk about what that means and how people, men and women, can work with you to find their power color?
Excellent question. So finding your power color, and I'll give you a little background on that. So I launched Jadora Beauty Brand, and the motto was pretty powerful women, women on the move. And finding your power color, that whatever you show up in is what would get gravitate to, people would gravitate to you, and it would bring the attention. But as I have been working with different executives and people in the community, there's a power color for everyone. But it's the color that makes you feel good. It's the color that makes you stand out. It's the color that you wear on Zooms like this so that people see you. You want people to not only hear you, but you want them to also remember who you are. I actually had the opportunity to be at Don's conference, and I wrote out executive styling packages because I found that with the women and the clients that I have, men and women, as they are thriving, they need to be confident. They need to walk in a room and know that they are standing not only as attention, but your confidence is also what you have on. Is part of who you are. It's part of your brand. And so you can always email me. You can always reach out to me for about executive packages if anyone is interested in that. But finding your power color is just that. It's a color that you can move in and move with, and it identifies who you are.
You walk in and consume the room in your power color. I
Absolutely.
love that. Thank you for that question, Dawn. Thank you. Feel free to keep dropping the questions, your burning questions to the comments. We have some time and the women are here, so take advantage of the opportunity. But we'll keep the party rolling. All right. What is the key to success, Rena?
So this question was hard when I was thinking about it because, it depends on what everybody's definition of success is. My definition is certainly not going to be the same as yours, Erica, or yours, Jackie, because success is personal, in my opinion. That could mean that if I'm a stay-at-home mom, that could mean that I'm the best stay-at-home mom that I could be. And to me, that is success, and my children are thriving. If I'm not a stay-at-home mom and I'm someone who is career driven, then that could mean that my career focus is whatever milestones I hit in my career, then that's, the measure of success. And so I guess if my advice to the key to success is just to be authentically you and just to really spend time to figure out what success means to you. In my introspection, I have found that throughout my career, success just means that I'm helping people. And so as long as I'm helping people, I feel fulfilled. I feel like I am doing what God has put me on this earth to be doing. I feel very lucky to be in the position that I'm in because I do feel like I can make a difference, both professionally and personally, right? Seeing my son's growth, seeing the milestones that he hits, helping him through this journey of life while he's in this, youth stage is so fulfilling. But at the same time, being able to help my community in the ways that I've been able to impact is just a blessing for me. So that's my key to success, is finding out exactly what it means to you.
I love that. I love that. Finding out exactly what it means to you. Thank you. And Jackie, what about you?
I love everything that Raina said, and I'm going to piggyback off of that because there is your own personal definition to success. Success for me is consistency, is showing up for myself, is doing the things that I'm passionate about. Success is only measured by by yourself. I always say, in comparison is the thief of joy. So it's not
Mm.
comparing yourself to anyone else's journey. I know a lot of people kind of get caught up in seeing what success, especially when it comes to finances, but that is not me. Success to me is knowing that I am being fulfilled and that I'm fulfilling, and that my journey, it has a story to it and that's attached to it. And then also knowing that who I am, I'm very confident in who I am. And as I'm walking through this journey, God knows who I am, and I'm his gift, and I'm going to do what it takes in order to make sure that he is pleased at the end of the day.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Thank you both for sharing those. I have a sidebar question. So you both have had a beautiful, beautiful journey, and have been in your spaces or getting to your space over several years. If you could go back to your 16-year-old self, what would you tell her when she's in doubt? And either one of you can dive in first. Okay, Jackie.
Recently,
Jackie.
I'll dive in first just because I recently had this conversation. So Rena, I'll tell you, I went all the way to Scottsdale to the spa for 5 days for some self-care time. And while I was there, I wrote a letter to my younger self.
Mm.
And it was extremely personal, it was extremely, but I was apologetic. My parents set out for me to be a lawyer, Rena, and I ended up being a hairstylist. So I had to be able to forgive myself, but I also had to be able to encourage myself. I had to be thankful for young Jackie versus older Jackie because the journey has taught me to appreciate the things that I've been through and the sacrifices that I've made to get to who I am today. I can't say that at 12, 13, and 14, I knew exactly what I wanted. Where now I can identify exactly what I want and I can talk about it now. And 14, 15, 16, you're learning to figure out what you want to be, at that age. So if I had to go back and tell 16-year-old Jackie, is that everything is going to be okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Thank you, Rena.
Oh gosh, that's you and these hard questions.
Listen, the questions that I'm asking you, you both have poured into me, off camera. So I know you have it to share.
I think my biggest piece of advice is going back to just being you. I had a really hard time when I was a teenager. You want to fit in. That's a really hard age. 16 years old, I remember I bleached my hair. I had all these blonde highlights because I wanted to look like all the blonde girls in my class and not,
Aw.
the person who looks like they're ethnic. And there's nothing wrong with that. And as I got older, I learned that it's okay to be you and that there's nothing better than being you. And so if I could go back to when I was 16, I would just really try to impress upon myself that it's okay to not know who you are at that age, first and foremost. But that it's also okay to do the work to try to find out who you are and what you want and what you need. Because the only person in life that's going to champion you is you.
Yes. That was not hard. That just flowed off the tongue. The only person in life that's going to champion you is you. Come on, Raina. What a word. See? All right, we have another question from the audience. How were you able to become confident in yourself and your roles?
I,
Jackie.
um, Confident. That's a big word for me. Um, I'm just now in my age now understanding that happiness is an inside job. You don't make other people, places, or things identify you and make you happy. It starts within. And that's where you gain your confidence. I'm sorry, what was the second part of the question?
Confident in yourself and in your roles.
In my role as a stylist, I'm confident because I make sure that I educate myself. It's been a lot of wisdom over 29 years. It's been a lot of mistakes. It's been a lot of things that I've had to correct. It's been a lot of evolving who I am as a stylist. It's been a lot of classes. I continue to take classes. I don't know it all. I don't portray that I know it all. I'm always willing to learn. I'm always willing to make a difference. And at the end of the day, it's about the impact. What am I impacting as I'm on this journey? Who am I associating myself with? Where am I going with these people? I tell people all the time that's in my industry, if you want to go to the next level, you have to work with people that's at the level that you want to be at. You have to be able to move when the crowd moves. A lot of times we get stuck in the same spaces and you have to continue to grow.
Awesome. Thank you both. Keep growing, educate yourself. We do not know all the answers, right? And every day is a learning opportunity. And I love that. And I love that someone said that Jackie knows her stuff and puts hair health first. I love it. All right. So I don't see more questions from the audience. So we're going to keep on rolling. And the next question is, what's your professional elevator pitch, Rena?
This one was hard too. I'm mad at you. I just have to say that.
But I love
you. You think it would be easier for somebody who ran a campaign to just do an elevator pitch, but it's not. It's hard to talk about yourself. At least for me, it's very difficult. I would say that I am a legal professional who has spent my entire career focused on trying to make my community a better place. I have been focusing my efforts on criminal justice reform, social justice, trying to advocate for policies that are common sense to make us safer, and to really just trying to help my neighbors access things that could help them get on a more stabilized path. That is my passion, is civil service. And so I will continue doing that for the remainder of my career in some way or another. And that's it.
How hard was that? That was great. That was great. Thank you. And Jackie.
So I'm with Raina. That was definitely a difficult question. And when I thought about it being an elevator pitch, I was like, well, what floor am I getting off on?
3.
But if I had to step on the elevator, I would just let them know that I am a professional cosmetologist, and that is a wide range. I'm a professional hairstylist. I'm a professional makeup artist. I'm also getting into wardrobe styling. But at the end of the day, I make people feel good. I make women feel good about who they are. I make men feel good about who they are. I make sure that I instill good things into people, and I expect for people to put good things into me, making sure that the atmosphere is set as well. And I just want to continue to live my life abundantly because I know that's what God has for me. And just making sure that I continue to work in passion and walk in faith.
Oh, I hope y'all wrote those down and practiced those and have those ready for those elevator rides. Because they were beautiful. They were beautiful. And, it's important to me. We've been having a lot of conversations at Dress for Success about personal and professional branding and about having your elevator pitch, because you never know who's watching or who you're standing next to or who just wants to know who you are and what you do. And having that 30-second pitch that you have down pat that you can say confidently, right? To say like, this is who I am, and you leave a mark. And so because of that, that's why I threw that in there. And tonight, this evening at Professional Women's Group, we're also talking about professional branding. And so it's nice for the women that is in the Dress versus Sex Columbus community to hear others elevator pitch. And you both said it so beautifully. So thank you. Thank you. Raina, there is a question for you in the chat. Tell us more about your new office, some of your goals as the new executive director, and the things the community can do to support violence prevention in our city. Great question, Dawn.
Thank you, Dawn, for that question. So like I said, this office is new. It's actually the first in the state. So it's the first of its kind in the state of Ohio. There are about 30 offices of violence prevention, give or take, across the nation. And so a little bit about how we were created is that Mayor Ginther, the mayor here in Columbus, tasked Columbus Public Health last year in 2022 to take a deep dive into gun violence as a public health crisis here in our city. And their main recommendation was for the administration to create an office of violence prevention, because what they found was two things. One is that here in Columbus, we are not lacking in programming when it comes to anti-violence programming. We offer some of the best and some of the widest array of programming. And that too, we're implementing some of the best practices that are recommended for anti-violence resources. It's just that we were missing a coordination piece. And so that's what the Office of Violence Prevention is here to do. We are here to collaborate and strategize with all of our partners, whether that's city departments, whether that's community programs that the city funds, or whether that's just grassroots organizations. We want to be the singular hub to help coordinate and align our strategies so that we are making the biggest impact. That's our first goal. The second goal is going to be taking a look into the data. So we know that we have data from across all of our programs, across our communities. We have data just living in people's brains, right, that are experiencing this violence in our communities that isn't necessarily written down on a piece of notebook paper somewhere in one of our offices. And so we want to compile all of that knowledge, all of that data to really understand what the landscape looks like here in Columbus and how we can make the biggest impact. And so my goal as the new director is just trying to have everybody understand that we are here for the community. We are not here to be another bureaucratic office. We're not here, just to put pen to paper and do the theoretical work. I have been very intentional in making sure that the staff that we are hiring not only is passionate about this work, but has practical experience in this work. And so I feel very confident in the staff that we will be hiring, the staff that I have already hired. And in my own experiences, like I said, I've spent my entire professional career working with individuals who have committed some of these violent acts or have made some of these bad choices, in learning about what the factors are that lead somebody to maybe go down this path, and how, if they had programming at the beginning, maybe they wouldn't have made those choices. And so I'm very passionate about this new office. And so I thank you, Dawn, for the question. And as far as how anybody can get involved, like I said, there is programming at every step of our city. I have never seen somewhere where our community is so passionate about this work. We have community members that are wanting to help in any way that they can. We have organizations popping up all over the place. And so if you need help finding an organization to get involved in, you can always reach out. You can do a simple Google search, I think will bring you up, or a Facebook search. There are so many great organizations doing wonderful on the ground, boots on the ground work that there is no shortage for you to get involved in.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you, Dawn, for that question. Feel free, guys, we are going to be wrapping up, but if you have any more questions, let us know before we go. And if not, my last question for you both is, what is one thing you want our viewers to walk away with today? And you can, whichever one.
I would say, again, back to the authenticity, that is the biggest lesson that I have learned in my life, that if you are not being true to yourself and what you want authentically, then no matter what you reach, whether it's good or bad or success or failure, it's not going to matter because you're not being authentic to yourself and the people around you. And so it's okay to be yourself, even when the world is saying, maybe you shouldn't dress like that, or maybe your hair shouldn't be like that, or maybe you shouldn't have on that bright red lipstick. I always say, wear the red lipstick and rock it and be yourself, because you're not going to be comfortable in anything that you're doing if you are not listening to who you are.
I wholeheartedly agree with wear the red lipstick and rock it. We all have on a pink or a red because, yes. Oh, wait, look, a question came up. Well, I'll let Jackie answer and then we'll get to that next question. Jackie.
Exactly what Raina said. Keeping you close to your chest for sure. Just making sure that you do take self care, take a break on your journey so that you can reset. When you reset, it gives you the ability to rebuild in the area that you feel like you may have fallen short for. So, my message is going to always be, like Raina said, staying true to yourself, staying authentic, but take your time. We have more time than we have anything. Nothing is a rush, and you only, like I said, comparison is a thief of joy. So stay joyous on your journey and just remember it's you versus you.
Yes, it's you versus you. Remain authentic. Enjoy, unspeakable joy. All right. So Monique says, I have a similar question for both Jackie and Rena that addresses adversity. Rena, as a as a fellow attorney, I know how hard it can be to manage situations with tough clients. How do you approach the client attorney relationship with clients who may be challenging to deal with?
Sure. So that's a really great question. And it's definitely a skill that I continue to work on every day. Right now, I'm not necessarily practicing as far as, having clients is concerned, but it was just a year ago that I had clients, and I spent, 10 years having those client relationships. And so I did learn a great deal, especially because, like I had mentioned previously, a lot of my clients um, had mental health issues or substance abuse issues. And so not only in my profession and my dealings with them were they in a incredibly emotionally charged state because of what they were dealing with a legal case, but oftentimes they were dealing with these subsidiary challenges of mental health issues or substance abuse issues that impacted our attorney client relationship. And so it was in those really difficult times that I had to just continually remind myself of why I was there to do the work that I was doing. And it was to help people like these clients, the exact client that is maybe being the most challenging. That's why I'm here, is to help this person get to a better position. And so just being able to step outside of yourself, step outside of the
Yeah.
situation, and really remind yourself why you are doing what you're doing, I think helps keep you grounded and helps keep everything on a good level.
Thank you for answering that. And then, Jackie, as someone who has had the pleasure of sitting in your chair, how do you approach challenging clients?
Hmm. Lots of patience. Seriously, like you just have to, and it goes back to meeting people where they are. Women, when it comes to their hair, is something that if they've experienced a loss of hair, if they've experienced damage, it damages part of their self esteem.
Mm.
And so I make sure that I'm very empathetic and passionate about how I make them feel. Do they feel safe in this chair? Do they trust me? If they have to unveil whatever it is that they feel that they have experienced or going on, I have to make sure that they feel confident when they leave. And so I have to make sure that everything that I do is with good intention. And so it shows up. definitely when I'm working with my clients that they do trust me. But if I have a challenging client, I have to figure out why. Was it previous bad experiences? Have they been to 100 people before they got to me and they were just tired? Are they dealing with something internally that has absolutely nothing to do with me? You know, those are the things that people show up with. And so you
Yeah.
have to make sure that you're very gentle in your conversation as well as in your consultation.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you both for your approach to challenging clients. And thank you, Monique, for that question. And hello to everyone. I see you. Hi. All right. So, Rena, there's a challenge in the chat. Can you
I
commit
see it.
to making a spa appointment by the end of the week? You don't have to go by the end of the week, but commit to the appointment and add it to my calendar.
Don, do you know it's already Thursday? That gives me one day to do that, but I will make a concerted effort to sit down and find a day by the end of this week. Yes, you're going to force me to do it, and I need that. So thank you.
I think that is us pouring into you in this season and in this moment and recognizing that you can step away for 1 hour. And so take that time to do that. And I know that Dawn will be following up. So you know it and I know it. So make that commitment. Was that a firm yes?
It was a firm yes. Yes.
Okay.
I will commit.
Excellent. Thank you. Well,
I tried to
ladies,
lawyer you for a second. I tried to get around it, but yes, I
ooh,
will give you a firm yes.
listen, making appointments take less than 5 minutes. You can do it. Self-care. All right. Well, ladies, it has been an honor. It has been an honor to share this hour with you and for you to just pour into not only me but all of our viewers. And I thank you. I know that your schedules are busy. I know that this hour could have been spent in the office or in the salon or even having some self-care, but I appreciate you prioritizing me and the women in our community to just have this conversation. You two truly are trailblazing women in our community, and your names need to be in spaces, in more spaces, and your voice and your wisdom. So thank you for sharing that with both our YouTube and Facebook pages at Dress for Success, and it has been an honor. Thank you all for each of you that have tuned in. I love that. And yes, we do have an opportunity for other speaking engagements. This Empower Her Virtual Series happens monthly. And so I'm excited about the future conversations that I'll be having. Tonight, we have Professional Women's Group from 6 to 8 at the Rocks Ruling Our Experiences, where we will be talking all about authenticity and professional brands. So if you are in the chat, feel free to stop by this evening. I would love to see you. Um, on June 21st, we have a partnership with Shops on Lane. Shop, sip, and socialize. It is free for you to attend, but you do need to register. That is June 21st. Then the very next day, on June 22nd, is our annual fundraiser event, Dine, Drink, Dress. So there are a lot of opportunities for you to connect with us and touch base with us and just be a part of the Dress for Success community. And we would love to have you. So if you, I'm going to give you back the rest of your day. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for all of you that have tuned in. I miss you all too. And I'm so glad to have seen you in the chat here. And have a great day. My name is Erica, and I am the Director of Programs at Dress for Success Columbus. See you soon.